Absolutely. You're doing great by studying this deeply for your goal to become an HR officer or HR manager in a reputed bank like SBI or any other organization. Let's make this exercise section super simple, interesting, and exam ready with full emojis, examples, and easy language like you asked. Pressure 1.6 exercise. Revision time. What is an exercise section? This part has questions that help you revise everything you learned in the chapter. Think of it as your exam booster and mock interview prep combined. Let's look at each question with simple answers, examples, emojis, and how it connects to your dream HR job in a bank. What is human resource management, HRM, with its objectives? Simple meaning of HRM. HRM means managing people in an organization. It includes hiring, training, paying, evaluating, and keeping employees happy and productive. Objectives of HRM: hire the right people, train and develop staff, motivate and retain employees, ensure legal compliance, improve performance. Example: imagine you're the HR officer in SBI. You use HRM to recruit new clerks, train them, track their progress, and keep them motivated with promotions and awards. Cash 2. What functions does HRM perform? Main functions of HRM: planning. How many people are needed? Recruiting. Hiring new employees. Training. Teaching them job skills. Appraising. Evaluating performance. Compensating. Deciding salary and benefits. Maintaining. Keeping employees happy. Example: as a bank HR manager, you plan for future staff needs before launching a new branch, recruit freshers from MBA colleges, train them, and appraise their performance. How Warwick Model affects HR practices. Warwick Model is a type of HR model that helps HR align its plans with business goals. It focuses on 2 key things: outer context, economy, law, politics; inner context, company's goals, culture. Effect on HR. It helps HR make smarter decisions based on what's happening inside and outside the company. Example: as an HR officer in SBI, if the bank is expanding due to digital banking, you plan hiring for tech-savvy employees. That's Warwick Model in action. 4. What are HR metrics? Explain its types. HR metrics equals numbers that show HR's performance. They help you measure if HR is doing well. Types: time to hire, how fast you hire, turnover rate, how many people leave, training ROI, are trainings useful, absenteeism rate, who's missing work. Example: if your HR team takes 45 days to hire one clerk, but a competitor takes only 25 days, HR metrics help you find and fix the problem. What is human resource outsourcing? Explain stages. HR outsourcing giving HR work to outside experts, like payroll, recruitment, or training. Stages: 1. Decision to outsource. 2. Choosing vendor. 3. Agreement and contract. 4. Monitoring the services. Example: you are a bank HR manager, and instead of handling payroll yourself, you outsource it to TCS. You focus more on strategy now. What is HR audit? Types of HR audit. HR audit equals a checkup or review of HR department. It finds what's working and what needs fixing. Types: compliance audit. Are laws being followed? Performance audit. Is HR effective? Function-specific audit, like recruitment audit. Culture audit. Is the work environment healthy? Example: you're an HR officer in a bank. An HR audit tells you that employee turnover is high. You then plan employee engagement activities. 7. What qualities must an HR manager have? Communication skills, empathy, decision-making ability, leadership, problem solving, tech knowledge. Example: as a bank HR manager, you listen to employees' complaints, solve them calmly, and make fair promotions. 8. What is the scope of HRM? Scope equals areas covered by HRM: manpower planning, recruitment and selection, training and development, performance appraisal, compensation management, employee relations, health and safety, HR technology like HRIS. Example: as an HR manager in SBI, you are involved in each of these scopes, from training probationary officers to tracking leaves and appraisals. Summary: simple and short. HRM is all about managing people well. HRM includes planning, hiring, training, paying, and evaluating. Tools like HR Metrics and HRIS make HR smarter. Models like Warwick help HR think long-term. HR Audit checks if everything's running fine. Outsourcing saves time on routine tasks. HR Manager must have people tech skills. Real life and interview use. In bank interviews, you may be asked, how do you ensure employee engagement? Or what HR metrics do you track? Now you can answer with confidence. In group discussions, you can say, I believe HRIS helps banks improve decision-making and compliance. In internships, this knowledge helps you suggest practical tools like employee surveys or process improvement ideas. You're building the mind of a real HR specialist, someone who thinks not only about people, but also performance, law, and strategy. Keep going. You're on the perfect path to be a future bank HR manager. Shall we move to the next concept? Send it, and I'm ready with full energy. Awesome! You're moving ahead like a true future HR manager of a reputed bank like SBI or any public-private sector. Now you're learning long answer questions, which are perfect for interviews, group discussions, and deep understanding, especially if you want to think like an HR head. Let's start with the first question in full detail with emojis, simple terms, examples, and interview tips at the end.
Hush!
Elaborate the Harvard and Guest model explaining its practical evaluation in HRM. First, what does this heading mean? Harvard model and Guest model are two important theories in HRM that show how HR should function inside a company. They help HR managers make strategic decisions by aligning people management with company goals. Let's begin with the Harvard model. Easy definition. The Harvard model of HRM focuses on people as assets and encourages HR to balance both employee and company interests. It says HR should work with employees, managers, unions, government laws, SAT, social and economic conditions. Components of Harvard model, very important. 1. Stakeholders, all people connected to the organization, owners, employees, govt. 2. HR policies, rules for hiring, training, appraising, etc. 3. HR outcomes, what HR wants to achieve, motivation, commitment, performance. 4. Long-term consequences, company health, employee satisfaction, productivity. 5. Situational factors, external environment, economy, law, culture. Example, imagine you are the HR officer in SBI. When the bank starts a new digital service, you check what new roles are needed. Are current employees trained for it? How to balance the needs of employees and customers? That's you applying the Harvard model. Now the Guest model of HRM. Easy definition. The Guest model by David Guest says HRM should create strategic fit between HR practices, like training, hiring, company strategy, like cost saving or innovation. It focuses on employee commitment rather than just rules. 6 components of Guest model, very important. 1. HR strategy, plan made by HR for people management. 2. HR practices, actual actions like recruitment, training, appraisal. 3. HR outcomes, employee motivation, low turnover, good behavior. 4. Performance outcomes, high productivity, quality service. 5. Behavior outcomes, employees follow values and cooperate. 6. Financial outcomes, profitability, ROI, cost effectiveness. Example, as an HR manager in a private bank, you plan to hire fresh MBAs with digital skills, train them for customer service, give rewards for performance. You're following the Guest model, focusing on performance and results. Practical evaluation of both models. Point Harvard model, Guest model. Guest model. Focus model. Focus. Employees' company balance, company performance, approach, soft HRM, people-oriented, hard HRM, goal-oriented, policy internal, long-term vision, external, market-driven, real use, good for public sector or banks, good for private sector firms. Summary, short and powerful. Harvard model equals people first, balance company and employee needs. Guest model equals strategy first, focus on goals and performance. Both are used in HR to make better decisions for hiring, training, rewards, etc. How it helps you in HR career and interviews. In a bank HR interview, if they ask, how would you balance business goals with employee needs? You can say, I'd apply the Harvard model to align both sides and create win-win policies. In group discussions, you can say, I think companies should use guest model to align HR with digital strategy. As a future HR officer, you'll use Harvard model when dealing with unions or compliance, and guest model when aligning HR with banking goals like branch performance or digital banking rollouts. You've just mastered an advanced MBA concept like a real HR expert. Ready for the next long answer? Awesome future HR manager. Let's dive into the second long answer question from your MBA textbook. 2. How HRM evolved. Explain human resource management in India. What does the heading mean? This question is about how HRM developed from the past to present. How HRM works, specifically in India, our own system, style, and laws. Evolution of HRM. Let's understand how HRM came into existence step by step in a simple story-like format. 1. Early stage, Industrial Revolution, 1800s. Only factory owners mattered. Workers were not treated well. No safety, no fixed wages, no holidays. Example, workers in textile mills worked 12 to 14 hours with no leave. No HR department, just hire and fire system. 2. Welfare officer era, 1900s. Companies hired welfare officers to manage workers' health, housing, and safety. It was the start of employee care in companies. Example, a welfare officer ensured clean drinking water and first aid boxes in a factory. 3. Personnel management era, 1920s to 1950s. Companies started hiring personnel managers to manage payroll, attendance, and discipline. Focus was still on rules, not development. Example, personnel manager of Tata Steel maintaining leave registers and wage books manually. 4. Human resource management era, 1980s now. Employees are now seen as assets, not just workers. Focus on training, growth, motivation, performance, and strategic planning. Example, as an HR officer in HDFC Bank, you create training programs, manage promotions, and ensure a great workplace. Part 2. HRM in India. HRM in India has grown with labor laws like Factories Act, Minimum Wages Act, etc. IT revolution, use of HR software, data, and analytics. Globalization, companies follow international HR practices. Public sector reforms, even govt jobs now need modern HR strategies. Key features of Indian HRM. 1. Diversity in workforce, different cultures, languages, religions. 2. Job security importance, Indian workers prefer stable jobs. 3. Strong labor laws, protect employee rights. 4. Training focused, skill building is a major part now. 5. Digital HR, banks and companies use HRIS and performance tools. Example, as an HR officer in SBI, you follow govt, rules while hiring, respect regional language and culture, use HRIS to track performance and promotions. That's HRM in the Indian style. Lawful, people-focused, and tech-supported. Summary, short and easy to remember. HRM evolved from welfare and payroll to strategic people management. In India, HRM blends laws, culture, diversity, and modern tech. HR today is about training, performance, employee well-being, and company goals. How it helps you in real life. In a bank HR interview, they may ask, how has HRM changed over time? You can confidently answer with the 4 stages and end with HR in India. In a group discussion, if the topic is HRM in India modern enough, you can talk about digital HR, skill building, and compliance. In your internship, when you see your manager using HR software, you'll now know, this is part of the HRM evolution. You're superb. You're moving ahead like a true future HR leader. Let's now go to the next question in your textbook. 3. What are the steps of human resource information system? Elaborate the steps clearly. What does the heading mean? This question is asking, what are the steps to implement an HRIS, Human Resource Information System? In simple words, how to set up a computer-based system to manage employee data, payroll, leaves, training, etc. Think of it like creating a digital brain for the HR department. Let's understand each step in a simple way. 1. Preliminary investigation. Find out if the company really needs HRIS. Check the current HR process, manual or digital, slow or fast. Example, as an HR officer in a bank, if employees are complaining about late salary slips or leave issues, it shows a need for HRIS. 2. Feasibility study. Is it possible to implement HRIS now? Check cost, time, staff skills, and tech readiness. Example, you check if your bank branch has computers, internet, and budget for HR software like SAP or Zoho People. 3. System design. Plan the structure of HRIS, what features it should have. Payroll, leave, performance appraisals, recruitment, etc. Example, you decide the software should show attendance records, holiday calendar, and allow employees to apply leave online. 4. Development and testing. Create or buy the HRIS system. Test it with dummy data to make sure it works properly. Example, you input fake employee data to check if salary is calculated correctly or not. 5. Training and implementation. Train HR staff and employees on how to use the system, then launch the HRIS for real use. Example, in SBI, all HR officers get trained for 3 days before they start using new HR software. Evaluation and maintenance. Regularly check the system. Is it working fine? Fix any bugs or update it when required. Example, if HRIS is not tracking attendance correctly, you inform IT team to fix it. Summary, easy to remember steps. 1. Investigate. 2. Check feasibility. 3. Design system, develop and test. 5. Train and launch. 6. Maintain and improve. Just remember, IDDT-T8, design, train, test, maintain. How it helps you in real life. In a bank HR interview, they may ask, have you ever worked on an HRIS system? You can say yes, and even mention the steps involved in setting it up. In a group discussion, you can say, HRIS helps reduce manual errors and increases efficiency in government banks like SBI and PNB. In your internship, you'll likely use software like Kika, SAP, Zoho HR, Darwinbox, etc. And now you'll understand how they were set up. HRIS is like the digital heart of HR. Awesome! You're building up strong HR muscles. Let's move to the next question from your textbook. Shaft 4. What are the reasons for investing in human resource outsourcing? State its advantages and disadvantages. What does this heading mean? Let's break it simply. Human resource outsourcing, HRO, means giving some HR tasks, like recruitment, payroll, training, to outside companies or agencies instead of doing them internally. Now, this question asks, why do companies choose to outsource HR work? What are the benefits and drawbacks of doing this? Nash reasons for HR outsourcing. Why companies do it. 1. To save cost. Hiring full-time HR staff is expensive. Outsourcing to experts is often cheaper. Example, a small bank outsources its payroll work instead of hiring a full-time payroll officer. 2. To get expert services. External HR agencies are experts in recruitment, training, etc. They do the job faster and better. Example, a bank wants to hire 100 new clerks. It takes help from an outside recruitment firm. 3. Focus on core business. Companies can focus on their main goals, like banking services, while HR work is done outside. Example, SBI focuses on banking and gives background checks or training work to an HR agency. 4. To get access to latest technology. HR agencies use modern tools like AI in recruitment. Companies can use that technology without buying it. Example, the agency uses software to find best candidates using LinkedIn. Fast and smart. 5. Handle legal compliance. Labor laws are complex. Outsourcing ensures legal compliance. Example, if a law changes about employee working hours, the agency adjusts it for you. Advantages of HR outsourcing, good side. 1. Cost staff needed, so salary cost is low. 2. Expertise. Agencies know the latest HR trends. 3. Quick hiring. Faster recruitment. 4. Legal safety. Helps follow labor laws. 5. Scalability. You can hire more staff quickly using outsourcing. Disadvantages of HR outsourcing. Bad side. 1. Less control. You don't control how the agency works. 2. Confidentiality risk. Employee data is shared with outsiders. 3. Poor quality sometimes. Some agencies are not professional. 4. Dependence on third party. Your success depends on another company. Summary to remember. Why outsource HR? Save cost, get expert help, focus on main work, use latest tech, follow laws. Advantages: cheaper, faster, expert help. Disadvantages: less control, risk of poor service. Real HR example and interview angle. Imagine you're the HR officer in a private bank, like HDFC. You might say, "We outsourced our training process to an external agency, which saved time and brought excellent trainers, but we still monitored the quality to ensure results." In interview or group discussion, they may ask, "Do you think banks should outsource HR activities?" You can say, "Yes, for repetitive work like payroll or recruitment drives, but key decisions should stay in-house for better control." You've just mastered another key HR concept like a real HR specialist. Want to go? Awesome. Let's jump into the next question, 5 from your textbook. PASHAR 5. Determine the different methods of collecting information for HR audit. What does this heading mean? Before we start, let's understand. HR audit means checking and reviewing how well the HR department is working, like a health checkup for HR policies, practices, and procedures. So this question asks, how do we collect the data or information needed to perform this HR audit? Like a doctor collects your test reports before diagnosing. Same way, HR collects info first. Snackana methods of collecting information for HR audit. 1. Observation method. The auditor watches how HR processes are being done in real time. This helps see what's actually happening, not just what's written. Example, as an HR officer in a bank, you sit and observe how onboarding of new employees is done, whether forms are filled correctly, ID checks done, etc. 2. Interview method. The auditor asks questions to HR staff or employees to understand the real situation. This gives honest insights, opinions, and experiences. Example, the auditor talks to branch HR manager to ask how performance appraisals are handled and what problems they face. 3. Questionnaire method. A set of structured questions is given to HR staff or employees to fill. It's fast and gives written feedback from many people. Example, employees in a bank fill out a survey asking, "Are you satisfied with your training programs?" 4. Document review or analysis. Checking official documents like policy manuals, attendance records, training records, etc. helps check whether practices are aligned with HR policy. Example, auditor checks employee leave records to see if leave policy is followed properly in your bank branch. 5. Benchmarking. Comparing your HR practices with best industry standards or other top companies helps find the gap between your practices and others. Example, your bank compares its employee retention policy with SBI or ICICI Bank to see where improvement is needed. Summary to remember. Main methods for HR audit info collection. Observation. Watch HR tasks in real time. Interviews. Talk to staff for deep insights. Questionnaires. Collect structured feedback. Document review. Check HR records. Benchmarking. Compare with top standards. Real HR example and interview angle. Imagine you're the HR officer at a government bank like SBI. You say in an interview, "Before changing our leave policy, we conducted an internal HR audit using employee questionnaires and document review to identify gaps." Group discussion tip. You may get a topic like, "Is HR audit a useful tool for improving employee experience?" Say, yes, if done properly with multiple methods like interviews and observations, it reveals real employee pain points and improves HR service quality. You're doing an amazing job learning HR like a future HR man. Great, let's move on to 6. Differentiate between HRM and personnel management. What does this heading mean? Differentiate means tell how two things are different. Here, you'll learn how human resource management, HRM, is different from personnel management. Difference between HRM and personnel management explained simply. Point: human resource management. Personnel management, PM, focuses on administration and record keeping, plans for future growth, focuses on developing employees and their skills, focuses on administration and record keeping. Proactive and strategic, plans for future growth. Reactive and routine, handles daily HR tasks. Relationship with employees, treats employees as valuable resources. Treats employees as workers or tasks. Broad includes training, motivation, performance management, culture, etc. Narrow, mainly recruitment, payroll, discipline. Decision-making, decentralized, decisions shared with managers and employees. Centralized, HR depth controls decisions. Change handling, supports organizational change and innovation, maintains stability and rules. Motivation, uses motivation theories like Maslow, Herzberg, etc., mainly focuses on wages and discipline. SHA, example to understand better. Imagine you are an HR officer at a bank branch. In personnel management, your role is just to maintain attendance records and process salary every month. In HRM, you also work on employee training programs, plan career growth, and help improve employee satisfaction and engagement to boost productivity. Key points to remember: HRM equals strategic and employee focused. Personnel management equals administrative and task focused. HRM sees employees as assets. Personnel management sees them as workers. HRM is more modern and fits well with growing companies, like banks expanding their workforce and services. Why is this important for bank HR officers? Interviewers might ask, how is HRM different from personnel management in banks? Oh, as a future HR manager, you should explain how HRM helps banks to motivate staff, manage talent, and drive growth, not just do paperwork. Group discussion tip: if the GD topic is HRM just a new name for personnel management? You can say, no, HRM is a broader and strategic approach focusing on employee development, whereas personnel management is limited to administrative tasks. Ready to proceed to the next question? Just say next, and I'll explain. Awesome! Let's move on to 7. Describe the concept of HRIS, explaining its different components. What does this heading mean? Concept means the main idea or understanding of something. HRIS stands for Human Resource Information System, a digital system used by HR to manage employee data. Components means the different parts or pieces that make up HRIS. What is HRIS? Explained simply. HRIS is like a smart computer system or software that helps HR people manage all employee information easily and quickly. Think of it as a digital assistant for HR that stores employee details, tracks attendance, payroll, recruitment, performance, and much more, all in one place. Main components of HRIS. 1. Employee database. Stores all employee info like personal details, job position, salary, contact, etc. 2. Payroll system. Calculates salaries, bonuses, deductions automatically. 3. Attendance and leave management. Tracks when employees come to work and when they take leave. 4. Recruitment module. Helps manage job applications, interview schedules, and hiring decisions. 5. Performance management. Records employee appraisals, feedback, and targets. 6. Training and development. Tracks employee training programs and skills improvement. 7. Reporting and analytics. Generates reports for HR managers to make informed decisions quickly. Example: Bank HR Officer View. As an HR officer in a bank, imagine you want to know how many employees took leave last month. Instead of asking manually, you just open HRIS, and within seconds, you get the report. Or when recruiting new clerks, HRIS can help you track all applicants, schedule interviews, and send emails automatically. It saves time, effort, and mistakes. Key points to remember. HRIS equals digital system for managing HR data. Helps in saving time and reducing errors. Includes modules like employee info, payroll, attendance, recruitment, and performance. HRIS helps HR managers focus more on strategic work rather than manual tasks. Why is HRIS important for bank HR? Banks deal with large employees across many branches, so HRIS makes management smooth and fast. Interview question alert. How can HRIS improve HR efficiency in banks? Your answer. HRIS helps banks reduce paperwork, speeds up processes like payroll and recruitment, and supports better decision-making with accurate data. Group discussion tip. If the GD topic is role of technology in HR, you can say, HRIS is a key technology that helps HR departments in banks and companies manage employee data efficiently, reduce manual work, and support strategic planning. Ready for the next one? Just say next.